This is Mark Fitzgerald from AT&T. Today, Tom Siracusa, Executive Director of AT&T Labs, joins us to discuss how to achieve optimum performance of your MPLS network and applications. This is the third in a series of videos that will help you understand how to make your MPLS VPN more efficient and productive.
Hi, I'm Tom Siracusa, Executive Director of VPN Strategy with AT&T Labs. And I'd like to talk to you today about some of the exciting things that AT&T is doing in the network to really help you evolve your MPLS VPN network. Really going to talk to you about some of the value-added capabilities that we're adding inside of our network to hopefully enable you to deploy new applications in a faster and more efficient way, and do so by taking advantage of network-based capabilities that AT&T is putting inside of our network. Now, network management is a pretty broad term when looking at one's network. It includes the end devices, the LANs that those end devices are connected on, the routers, the WAN technology that you're using. In this case, I want to focus on MPLS VPN technology. The servers that those applications are residing on, and then the applications themselves. And at the end of the day, as an IT manager, you want to make sure those applications are running effectively for your end users. So to do this, across all aspects of the network, there are really three key areas you need to have control over. You want to have, first and foremost, visibility into the network. You need to know how the network is doing and how those components are doing in order for you to perhaps improve or fix a problem. The second aspect is control. You have to have control over that entity. And then the last one is optimization, and that you perhaps need to employ some technology to improve how a particular part of the network is running. So the area of network management I'd like to focus on now is something we refer to as WAN optimization. And this is really trying to optimize the wide area network, the MPLS VPN network, to work very effectively for your applications. So to start, I'd like to talk about visibility. I mean, clearly, the first thing you need to do is understand the applications running on your network. And I'm sure many of you struggle with this because applications in an IP environment can be added without your knowledge. And so trying to really appreciate all the mix of traffic that you have on your network is an important step. So AT&T has a service called AT&T Traffic Analysis Service, or ATA, whereby we employ NetFlow capabilities on the managed routers that we provide as part of our MPLS VPN service. Through NetFlow, we're able to gain application information coming in and out of every location on your network. We send this information to regional collection centers, where we have regional centers in the US, in Europe, and in the Asia-Pacific region. And then this traffic is sent down to a centralized location for collection and ultimately to provide a variety of reports that we can give to you. You're able to access these reports through our Business Direct portal. You're able to play what-if games like changing around class of service, for example, to see how well the network's performing if traffic flows were to change. But most importantly, it really gives you a detailed view of the applications that you're running on your network, so you could, ensure that the networks that you care most about, those productivity applications that are critical to your business, are going to be running effectively. The second capability you need is to have control over the application environment. And we're able to support this through a capability we refer to as class of service. This enables us to take the mix of applications that you have and assign them into a particular class of service. And each class of service represents different characteristics that those applications need the network to provide. So for example, your telepresence application might be a real-time application needing very low delay and jitter characteristics. So this could go in class of service 1 or the real-time class to ensure that it's going to behave appropriately and effectively across the wide area. Second, you might have some other unified communications applications, say a web collaboration function that needs to go in maybe a high priority data class because you're looking for good delay and low packet loss, but you perhaps don't need the jitter requirements of a telepresence or a voice over IP. So it's through this mechanism that you're able to classify all your applications. Again, an inherent capability that comes with MPLS VPN technology. Now, the last area I'd like to talk about is optimization. The reality is that there are some applications that have really been customized and built to perform well in a local environment. A local area network where the distance between, say, the PC and the server are very close. And now you look to put these over the wide area network, say with 5,000 miles between the endpoints, and all of a sudden the application doesn't work that well. And adding bandwidth or trying to change the class of service is not going to overcome the need to traverse 5,000 miles. So there is a series of technologies that we generally classify as application acceleration that enable you to optimize the environment to effectively support these applications. So for example, let's say you're trying to send a very large file across the network and you're really unable to fill up the bandwidth that you have with this application. Some of the things that we're able to do is compress and cache the data such that you're not sending quite so much data across the wide area network. Another example might be where you're trying to, let's say, attach to a file server that's located on the other side of the network. Let's say you want to pull down a large PowerPoint file that's sitting on a server, and you go and try and pull that file down across the wide area network. Well, due to the underlying protocols that are used to transmit this file, it's not going to work well over that long distance. And so there are protocol acceleration capabilities that enable us to improve the performance of that application. Not only for the first iteration or first pull down of that file, but in particular for subsequent pull downs of that file. So if you have content that is very popular that needs to come down perhaps to many endpoints, this protocol acceleration can greatly improve the performance of that download. In some cases as good as 100 times faster than the original method without this acceleration. And lastly, there's something called TCP and HTTP, or web acceleration capabilities, whereby you're trying to improve the performance of, say, web applications that are traversing over the network. Or with TCP acceleration, perhaps you're trying to improve a file download speed whereby you're unable to fill the pipe because of the TCP protocol. TCP acceleration, in essence, extends the window size of TCP to improve the throughput that you get on, let's say, a download of a large file. So to summarize, application acceleration can enable you to have better utilization of the available network bandwidth that you've purchased, and it can also greatly improve the remote application response time for some critical applications that can't be solved in other ways. So AT&T offers a variety of services as a complement to our MPLS VPN services. We're able to add acceleration devices that sit in the different locations of your network and offer these acceleration techniques to improve the performance of the applications running over your network. In summary, I hope you found value in this session today. And I hope you see that AT&T is not only a provider of transport services, but actually a value-added provider across many application services that we think will complement your MPLS VPN. These expand from a variety of access options extending out to both dedicated connections and internet-based connections, including Ethernet and wireless options. It includes security services that sit inside the network to really help you bridge the gap between your private network and your extended enterprise that might reach out to the internet. It includes application management services and WAN optimization services like acceleration to really optimize your environment to meet the needs of the applications you're running. And it also includes some key applications such as managed telepresence solutions that enable you to, again, extend those applications across not only your enterprise, but truly your extended enterprise and your partners as suppliers. And lastly, we're able to complement your transport service with a wealth of hosting services that enable you to have disaster recovery options that go to our network, or even primary options such as server virtualization and even true utility computing through our Synaptic hosting offerings. While there's lots of competitors in various aspects of the services that I talked about today, I think AT&T is really uniquely qualified to be able to offer you all of these services in a comprehensive way, all taking advantage of the MPLS VPN services that you have with us right now.
Thanks, Tom, and thanks for listening today. Look for 2 additional AT&T videos on maximizing the capabilities of your MPLS network at www.att.com/networkingexchange/power your apps. This podcast is copyrighted by AT&T Intellectual Property.